Right, people. I hope you can hear me. Today's YouTube live, so it is not live broadcasting. You guys can hear me a little bit late, so asking questions much is not a good idea today. I will see it late actually. That's the reason. Anyways, I'll start the Zoom recording also in case something happens with the YouTube recording. I'll start the Zoom recording also. Right, people, here we go again. Organic last part which you have to discuss the organic nomenclature. People, you need a tute for this. Tute kyanne, actually it's not a tute, it's like a guidance. I'll actually share the PDF to the Telegram group. You can have that PDF. People who are not in my class who don't have the PDF, I'll just share it to the discussion group. I told you to join that group, right? So organic nomenclature. Right. I have sent it to the group. I hope you have it by now. It's there in the Telegram group. Right. Okay, let's start. Organic nomenclature. I don't know whether you are hearing me or not today. It's a YouTube live, so there's no live chat in the YouTube live. I have disabled it and I have told you to put a message in the Telegram group. Okay, right. Perfect. Now, people, when it comes to organic nomenclature, it's definitely 1 mark. It's definitely 1 mark. You know that, right? It's definitely 1 mark. Every year there is a question, there's an MCQ from the organic nomenclature. So, people, after today's class, you will get that 1 mark. Definitely, you will get that 1 mark, right? In the A-level paper, there won't be very hard organic nomenclature questions, just normal organic nomenclature questions. When you do around 100 or 50 or 70, around that range, if you do that much of questions until the exam in these 4 months, that's going to be way more enough. හරිද ඒක ලොකු එච්චර ගොඩක් ඕනෙත් නෑ. We will like 30 questions. If you do from different patterns, then you will get hold of this. There's nothing much in this topic, but still it is one MCQ. හරිද? Okay, so there you have, we have to first set out a map of the things which we need in order to name an organic compound, right? So the first one is identifying the major functional group. Now people, when it comes to organic compounds, there are functional groups. For example, CH3, CH2, CH2, C double bond oxygen and OH. So this one, carboxylic acid is a functional group. And also, people, you have seen alcohols. We have talked about reactions and mechanisms and everything, and you have seen this type of groups. This is alcohol, and that is also a functional group. So there are many functional groups. For example, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, around 10 to 13, around 10, yeah, around 10 functional groups are there which can be identified in organic compounds. And now what they're going to do is they are going to give them some ranks. Ranks කියන්නේ according to the priority. Now people in early society, the highest priority was for the king. the king, the queen, the කියලා ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. ඒක අවුලක් නෑ. ඒක අමතක කරන්න. King is the highest one. And normally the lower class people, you call them third class, right? Those days, I mean those days. The lower class is the lowest, and then upper and upper and upper, likewise you go. And the most top one is the king. So something like that. So who's the king here? Who's the king in organic? Who's the king? Who are we going to give much priority in organic? That one, people, carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid holds the most acidity in organic compounds, as well as carboxylic acid holds the most, I mean, it has the most importance when it comes to organic nomenclature. And we consider that one as the most strongest functional group. That means I want you to write, if you have a short note, if you have this note, then you can write it in the note. Otherwise, just have an A4 paper and then write your own note in your way. That is what I suggest. That's what I did when I was doing A-levels. Like there were free sessions running around in YouTube. I watched them and then I created my own note out of it and I make use of them, right? So the first one who is most acidic in this case is carboxylic acid. Right? This is carboxylic acid. Then who's next? It is the ester. You know the ester, right? This one is the ester. So this is carboxylic acid. And then you have the ester. So these are the priority ranges. That means the most priority should be given for carboxylic and then ester. And then people, after that, we have acid chloride. This is the acid chloride. And then after that, we have amide, C double bond oxygen, NH2. Right. And then you have cyanide, CN. After that, you have aldehydes. Aldehydes and ketones. After aldehydes, only ketones come. Then after that, you have the OH group. And then finally, you have the, if I write it at the bottom, fine, NH2. So these are the priority orders. I'll write the names of this acid halide. This one is amide. This one is cyanide. This one is aldehyde. This one is ketone. This one is alcohol. And this is amine. So these are the functional groups and they are important. Secondly, they are priority orders. The highest priority is for the carboxylic acid and the least priority is for the amine. So this is the order. This is the first thing I want you to notice. This is the first thing I want you to memorize actually. The make a memorize කරන්න ඕනේ මේක ගොඩක් දැකලා ප්‍රශ්න කරලා. What will happen is you will gain some knowledge even without studying. හරිද? When you see an aldehyde and alcohol, then you have to give priority for the aldehyde, something like that. Why are we learning this? Just learn, will you? Now, people, before learning a language, you have to learn the alphabet, something like that. So before learning how to do nomenclature, we have to learn the basics of it. So these are the basics. This is the first thing. This is like the alphabet. Hurry. I'll wait for like. No need. This is a YouTube live, so you can stop and write. I'm just continuing today. Right? This is a YouTube live. You can stop and write. Okay. So people, if you are done with this, I'm going to erase. Second one, identifying the role of the groups in a compound. Now, people, we wrote many functional groups. So we have to identify their roles. There are only two roles, people. The first one is acting as the major functional group. Major functional group means it will overcome all the other groups. The person who will act as the functional group will be the strongest one, or you call it the most major one, the major functional group. And the other groups will act as the substituent groups. Now, depending on who you are, you have different names. If you are a major functional group, then you will have another name. If you are substituent groups, you will have another name. Harida, මොකක්ද කිව්වේ? There are three types, people. Harida, first one, There are groups which will only act as only major groups. Only major groups are there. Only major groups are there and also only substituent groups are there. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ කට්ටිය major groups විදිහට ඉන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ only substituent groups. They can never be major groups. Only major groups, they can never be substitute groups also. And somewhere in middle you have major plus substitute. ඒ කියන්නේ for example OH. OH can act as a major functional group or as well as OH can act as a major substituent group. Substitute නෙමෙයි substituent. හරිද? Substituent group. හරිද? මේක දෙපැත්තටම යන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? මම මේක අඳින්නම් මේ table එක අඳිද්දි කරමු. Let's draw a table now. Right. So the functional group, the name of the major functional group and name of the substituent groups. You are going to draw a table. So the first column is functional group. The next one is name as the major functional group. Name as the major functional group. And then name as the substituent group. Right. Now people, කියන්නේ දැන් අපි කරන්න යන්නේ මෙතන functional group එකක් ගන්නවා. ඒකල්ලා we are going to give the name when it acts as a functional group, major functional group, and we are going to give it a name when it acts as the substituent groups. අර මං කිව්වේ only major groups කියලා. අන්න ඒ කට්ටිය කවුද? Carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid and then ester, and then acid halide. Acid halide. This is X කියන්නේ acid halide. දැන් මේක chlorine වෙන්න පුළුවන්, bromine වෙන්න පුළුවන්, iodine වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? ඒක වෙනස් වෙනවා. Amide. These people can never act as a substituent groups. They can never act as substituent groups. හරිද? උන්ට හැම ඉන්න බෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ they will definitely be functional groups if they are included in a compound. අර මෙතන the carboxylic group we call it, we have a name for it like oic acid. ඒක මොකද්ද මේ කියලා you might be seeing after a while. Oic acid we call it, just remember the name. And this one is O8. This is oil halide. Oil halide can people මෙතන chlorine එකක් තිබ්බොත් එහෙම oil chloride. Oil chloride. මෙතන bromine එකක් තිබ්බොත් oil bromide. මේක මොකක්ද? මේක amide කියලා තමයි ඉවර කරන්නේ අර. Propanamide. අර amide කියලා තමයි ඉවර කරන්නේ. You will get hold of these people after we go further into this. For now, just draw this table. We have some more groups to write. So these guys will never act as substituent groups. These guys will never act as substituent groups. Right. I hope you can hear me you have not responded yet. I hope you can hear me. Okay. Next, what are the next groups? Now, after this, you have the next ones. The people who can act as both functional group and substituent groups. The cyanide can, CN, then people aldehyde, then ketone, aldehyde and ketone is the ketone. Then people OH, the alcohol. People, if you are not familiar with this much, if you are beginning uh, organic by nomenclature, actually the suggested method is not to teach nomenclature as soon as you begin organic. The reason for that is you don't know what is an aldehyde, you don't know what is a ketone. How are you supposed to remember them? Right? After doing reactions and mechanisms and then isomerism and everything, only at last you have to do organic nomenclature, because now you have an idea about organic and you know what are the compounds and the reactions and what do they actually mean. So after that only you're going to go into nomenclature. So after which you have NH2. After NH2 you have yeah, only up to NH2, let's write only up to NH2. Then people acting as a major functional group, cyanide group will be called as nitrile. It is a very odd name for this. Nitrile or nitrile. Then this one you call it al. Acting as a major functional group. Al. This one is on. One නෙමෙයි on. දැන් මොනවද මේ ලියන්නේ කියලා බලන්න බලන්න ඇති මේ how to even tell these names. ඉතින් ඒවා පස්සේ when you are naming compounds you will see. Then what the hell is OH? OH කියන්නේ all. L එකක් තියෙන්නේ. හරිද? එතකොට මේක amine. හරිද? අරක amide මේක amine. එච්චරයි. හරිද? එතකොට people acting as a substituent group. I cannot make sense. Cyano. හරිද? Cyano. CN you call it cyano. And Al you call it formyl or oxo. Formyl නැත්තම් oxo. There are different situations which we use both of them. Right? ඒ කියන්නේ එකක් එක්ක මේක නැත්තම් මේක. There are different situations. I'll tell you when we are doing questions. So formyl oxo. And then ketone people, you're going to use oxo for that. Ketone definitely are using oxo for that. Then after that OH. OH you have hydroxy here. Hydroxy, and then last you have amino. You call the NH2 group as amino. Right? Don't worry about these things much. I know it's a mess. I know it just doesn't make any sense, people. What is a functional group? What is a substituent group? But it doesn't make any sense for now, but just hold on until the end. You will get a hold of this. If you have done organic before, that means you know this. You join the session to polish it up. So that means you have an idea about what I'm telling right now. Just to freshen up your memory, you have joined the meeting, and that's good. Okay, then I'm going to erase the board. Then people, there are groups which will not act as functional groups ever. හරිද? උන් විතරක් හිටියත් උන් act වෙන්නේ නැහැ functional groups විදියට. They are the halides. This could be chlorine, bromine and iodine. No? X equals chlorine, bromine, iodine. ඔය ඕන එකක්. හරිද? Chlorine, bromine, iodine, fluorine, everything. Right? So it doesn't act as a functional group, but it acts as a substituent groups. You call it halo. ඒ කියන්නේ Chlorine නම් you call it chloro. හරිද? අන්න ඒ වගේ. Chlorine නම් chloro, bromine නම් bromo, and iodine නම් iodo. Right? So that is that. මේ X කියන්නේ people X is a halide. මෙතන X කියන්නේ it will not react. මෙතන not reacting. දෙකම එක වගේ දැන්. මල කිලියක් වෙන්නේ. Right. Next one is NO2. NO2 group people, it will never act as a functional group, but it will act as a substituent group. You call that nitro. Can you remember nitrobenzene? Nitrobenzene. And this one, the benzene ring. It will also never act as a functional group, but it will act as a substituent group. You call that phenyl. Phenyl. Okay. That's all. Again, HRI main table එකට දාන්න තියෙන්නේ. තව නෑ දාන්න. Within our syllabus, we don't have anything else. There are stuff which is out of our syllabus, which you are not going to touch. We might touch when doing questions, but still we are not going to go deep into them. Right. After you finish writing this, people, turn to the next page, page number 2. When there are more than one group in a compound, we give a prefix to it. If there are two chloro groups, if there are two chloro groups, we call it dichloro. දැන් මෙතන chloride කියලා දෙන එක cut කරන dichloro. Dichloro, dinitro, right? Dimethyl, something like that. Right? So you call it di. When it is 2x, when it is 2, when there are two groups, you call it di. Right? When there are three groups, you call it tri. When there are four, you call it tetra. When there are five, you call it penta. And then when there are six, you call it hexa. හයකට වඩා එන්නේ නැහැ people, there won't be more than 6. මේවා එන්නෙත් නැහැ people, we only have around 1 and 2. Make a try, yeah. Most of the time we get only this. You can write that down. Okay. Then people, we are going to do some exercise. Identify the functional group and substituent groups in the following examples. Right. This is the first one which you're going to write. You have to identify the functional group and the substituent groups in this. How do CH3, COH, H, CH2, C double bond oxygen, hydrogen. That's the first one. Second one, CH3, CH2, C, CN, H, CH2, C, CH2, OH. Third one, CH3, CH2, C, Cl, CH2, CH2, OH. Right? Fourth one, CH3, CH2, NO2, That's the fourth one. Fifth one. Sixth one. Seventh one. Eighth one. Ninth one. Eighth one. Ninth one, this one. 10th one. So in these compounds, you have to identify the major functional group and the substituent groups. And the substituent groups. Okay. Right. Now, let's see. So in the first one, people, the aldehyde is there. Now the functional group, I'm going to circle it in blue color. Blue color, you're right. I have to fill the ink. Give me a second. OH is there. Oops, I told you major functional group, I'm circling in blue color, okay? Major functional group, I'm circling blue color. So this is the major functional group, the aldehyde. And the substituent groups is the OH. Here you go, the OH. And then after that, here you can see there's a ketone. Ketone is the major functional group. And then after that, you have cyanide groups and OH groups, which are the next. So these are treated as substituent groups, people. The major functional group I'm circling in the blue color. Okay. Then third one, the major functional group is OH, and the substituent group is chlorine. After that, in the fourth one, you have an aldehyde, which is the major functional group. The substituent groups in this case, NO2 and CH3. You might wonder why is it CH3? You will find that later. Why is it CH3 there. So however, this is a substituent group in this case, and NO2 is a substituent group. Fifth one, there's a ketone and aldehyde. According to the hierarchy, you can remember the aldehyde is before the ketone. So first comes the aldehyde, then comes the ketone. Ketone is a substituent group in this case. Here you have carboxylic and then you have ketone. So here, people, the major functional group is the carboxylic. Substituent groups are CH3 and then the ketone are substituent groups. In this case, In this case, why the CH3 became a substituent group, you will understand later. Then, so seventh one, the acid halide, the acid chloride, this one will act as the major functional group, and then the ketone will act as a substituent group. Eighth one, the OH will act as a substituent group. The ester part will act as the major functional group. And the aldehyde will also act as a substituent group. Ninth one it's only OH, so that is the only one, and that's the functional group. 10th one, the carboxylic will be the functional group, and the chlorine will be the substituent group. Chlorine will be the substituent group. So those are the 10. Hari, right. Okay, people. Then you will go to the next page, page number 3. Now we are talking about how to identify the carbon chain in a given compound. So this is the first step actually. When you are given a compound like this to name, first what you're going to do is identify the functional group and the substituent group. So you have done that now. So the main functional group is this one. In this case, it is the ketone, and the substituent groups are cyanide and then OH. So people, next thing is you're going to identify the carbon chain, right? You might be wondering what's that. The carbon chain is the main skeleton. It's the main, it's like a backbone of the structure. The carbon chain is the backbone of the structure. The carbon chain is the backbone of the structure. AQA, what does that mean? So let's see. Identifying the carbon chain. There are people in the note I have given you the steps in order to identify a carbon chain. Section number 1, identifying a carbon chain. There are a few sections you have to look into. The first one is section number 1, identifying the carbon chains and rules to follow in order to identify it. Right. The carbon atom of the major functional group or the carbon atom attached to the main functional group should be included. Again, functional group, major functional group in, now we selected major functional groups, right? They should be included in the main carbon chain. Main carbon chain attach වෙලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Now let's say this is the main carbon chain. This is the main carbon chain, and the functional group should be attached to this one by a bond, right? Or included inside that, something like that. It should be attached to the main carbon chain. The second rule is all the double bonds and triple bonds should be included. Third one is it should be the longest chain possible. Digama chain එක select කරන්න ඕනේ. So these are the priorities. First one is major functional group should be included. Second one is the double and triple bonds should be included. The third one is it should be the longest chain. However, in this case now, the first one, right there, first one, you're going to identify the major, not the major, you're going to identify the carbon chain in all these examples, and we are going to write a few, right, around 10 maybe. First one, CH3CH, CH2CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. In this case, people, look at the first point. Major functional group should be attached to the main carbon chain. There are no functional groups even. There are no even substituent groups. So what you do is you ignore that. Second one, double bonds and triple bonds should be included. Okay, double bonds and triple bonds are not there in this chain. Then it should be the longest chain possible. Now we are supposed to select the longest chain possible. So if we start in one place, we have to end in the longest place possible. Now let's go like this. Is it correct if I draw like this? No, right? Why? If we go down, we are getting a longer chain. Look, there are 2 carbon atoms here. There you go. So this is the longest carbon chain possible, not this one. So this one becomes a substituent group. This one becomes a substituent group in that case. This one becomes a substituent group in that case. Right? Okay, then second one. Second one, check this CH3, CH, CH2, CH2, C double bond CH2, H, CH, CH2, CH3. Now, people, first point. What is the first point? Major functional groups තියෙනවද? නැහැ. Substituent groups තියෙනවද? නැහැ. Second point, double bonds and triple bonds should be included. Okay, there is a double bond here. So you should definitely include that in the chain. So definitely it should be there inside the chain, no? Right? It should be definitely inside the chain. Now you are going to look whether you are going to the right or left. On the left side, people, you will find only 2 carbons. On the right side, you will find 3 carbons. How to show it with 3 fingers? Like this. There are 3 carbons on this side and there are only 2 carbons on this side. That means you're going to select the longest carbon chain possible. You're going this side and then you're completing the chain like that. And this one becomes a substituent group, right? Third one, you're going to do CH3, C double bond C, CH2, CH, CH3, C, OH. Now, people, look at this first point. Now, first thing you have to do is select the functional groups in this case. So this is a functional group. This is a functional group, right? That's the major functional group in this case. So what did I say? You should include the major functional group in the carbon chain. You should include the major functional group in the carbon chain. That means the aldehyde will be the major functional group. You're starting off with here then. You're starting off with here. This is included in the main carbon chain. And whether you're going down or to the left, of course you are go to the left. Because why? There's a double bond and also it's the longest chain. So there you go. That's the third one. Then fourth one. Okay, what about this then? That's one point. People, carboxylic acid is dominating the aldehyde. Carboxylic acid is dominating the aldehyde. In this example, aldehyde is acting as the major functional group. If aldehyde is acting as the major functional group, you have to include that in the carbon chain. Remember that. But if aldehyde is not the major functional group, if aldehyde is a substituent group, then you should not include that in the major carbon chain, main carbon chain. Because you have to make the longest chain possible. And also, even if you make the longest chain possible, people, the aldehyde will get covered. The aldehyde is attached anyways. So that is a special point. So you start with this carboxylic and you complete the chain like this. And this will become a substituent group. The aldehyde part will become a substituent group. You don't include the aldehyde inside that. You have to go through this pathway, right? You have to go through this pathway. So that's the fourth example. This third one and fourth one is important. This third one and fourth one is important because here you are including the aldehyde inside, but here you are not including the aldehyde inside. හරිද? ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න. Fifth one. Fifth one, CH3, CH2, CH3, CH2, CH, CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3, CH2OH. Right, try this. Stop the video and try this now. You're watching in YouTube. Ne? Stop the video and try that. Right. So the functional group is the only functional group is OH and it's the major functional group. So that means you're going to include that in the carbon chain. You're going to include that in the carbon chain. You're going to include that in the carbon chain. So you're starting off from here. You're skipping this CH3 group. You're skipping this CH2 CH3 group because you have a longer chain on the right side. And you complete like this. That's the longest chain possible. So this one also become a substituent group. This one also become a substituent group. This one also become a substituent group. And this is the major functional group here, OH. So it's an alcohol. It's the major functional group. So this is how you name. This is how you select the carbon chain. Let's do more examples. I'm going to erase the board now. Everything I'm going to erase. Okay. Then people, sixth one. CH3, C double bond oxygen, hydrogen. CH3, CH2, 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 OH. In this case, people, the aldehyde will function as the major functional group, right? The aldehyde will function as the major functional group. Therefore, it should definitely be included in the carbon chain. You don't go to this CH3, you don't go to this CH3 because there's OH here, you have to cover it. You're going here, you're going here, and you're covering that. So that's your carbon chain. That is your carbon chain. So people, we have learned two things now. First one is selecting functional group and substituent groups. Second part we learned now identifying the carbon chain. Identifying the carbon chain, that's the second one. So this is the sixth example of that. Then next, seventh one. First rule. First thing what you have to do, select the major and functional group and substituent group. This is a substituent group. This is a major functional group. Here, this is a major functional group. So you have to include that in the main carbon chain. And there's a double bond here also. So you have to cover all of that. You have to cover all of that. That means you're going to start from here. You're not going to turn right. You come down and then cover it up. So there you go. This is the seventh one. This is the seventh one. Then the eighth one. I'm going to erase. You can stop the video and look. Eighth one. Look at this example. You have to identify the groups now. There is OH and there is chlorine. There's OH and there's chlorine. Out of them people, OH is more dominating. That means OH will function as the major functional group and chlorine will act as a substituent group. So chlorine acting as a substituent group means you have to include that in the carbon chain. No matter how long this chain is, you're going to ignore that. So you're going to start from here and then complete the chain, including this chlorine, right? That is your carbon chain. This is your carbon chain. So this whole thing will be a functional group. Why? Now that's the longest chain. If you draw like this, it will be the longest chain. But doesn't matter. If there's a substituent group like this, you have to include that in your carbon chain. Right? You should include that in your carbon chain. This is the eighth one. This is the eighth one. I'm erasing the board. Ninth one. Ninth one. CH3. This one. Select the functional groups now. Chlorine is a functional group. The ketone is a functional group. The double bond is also there. So you have to select the longest carbon chain possible, but also include the substituent groups and the double bonds and the major functional group. So what you're going to do, you're going to include this chlorine and all the way you go here, cover the double bond and come back down and then cover this. That is your carbon chain. Excluding this part, you're going to include this chlorine. That's the most important thing. Including the substituent groups in the main carbon chain is important than getting the longest carbon chain. That's it. Then we will 10th one as the last one. Tenth one. CH3, CH2, C, Cl, CH2, 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 CH3, CH2, C, OH, and right. So this is your 10th one and the last one to identify the carbon chain. In this case, people, this one will function as the major functional group. The carboxylic will be acting as the major functional group. Then the aldehyde will be a substituent group. If aldehyde is a substituent group, people, we can start the chain from here and then complete it like this. You're going to not complete the chain through the aldehyde because it's a substituent group. හරිද? ඒක substituent group එකක් හින්දා ඔයා ඒක අස්සෙන් යන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයා එළියෙන් ගිහිල්ලා මේ chain එක complete කරනවා. But you should go in this side without going in this side because you have to include the aldehyde like this. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙහෙම hook එකකින් වගේ attach කරනවා, right? You're going to attach it by a hook like that, not including the carbon chain inside it. If aldehyde is only a substituent group, remember that. That's the 10th one, and that's the last one. That's the 10th and the last. Okay? Right. Okay, then people, go to the next page. Go to the next page. Now what we're going to do is the third step of everything. Giving numbers. Giving numbers to whom? Girls? No, not girls. Giving numbers to the carbon chain. Right? How are we going to give numbers? Now we have made a carbon chain, right? Now what we're going to do is we are going to number the carbon chain 1, 2, 3, 4 clockwise or anti-clockwise. How are we going to do that? So step-by-step guide for this. It's a step-by-step guide for this. Look, section 2, assigning numbers to the carbon chain, page number 4. First one, the functional group should receive the lowest number possible. Now let's see if there's a the functional group should receive the lowest number. That's the first one. This is the first priority. First priority. Okay, first priority. CH3, CH2, CH, chlorine, CH2, CH, OH, CHOH, CH2, C double bond oxygen, hydrogen. Right. First step, selecting the major functional group and the substituent group. So chlorine is a substituent group, hydroxide is a substituent group, and the aldehyde part is a functional group. Then what about next? Next, you are going to identify the carbon chain. Carbon chain will be this. Then giving numbers to the carbon chain. That's the third step which you are doing. So giving numbers to the carbon chain, the first priority was the functional group should get the lowest number possible. You start with here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. You start numbering from the right side because the major functional group, the aldehyde part, will get the lowest number possible. Right? He's the crowning, right? He's the star. So he's the major functional group. The major functional group should receive the lowest number possible. So that's the first one. Draw this under the first one. Okay, draw this under the first one. Then the second one, people, if the functional group receives the same number from both sides, there could be situations like this. The major functional group, the major functional group will receive the same number even if you go from both sides. Look, in this case, this is the second one. On the second only you're drawing this under the second one. No? So the ketone part will be acting as the major functional group, you know that. But people, if you name it from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. This side, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now what? What's next? It's like the electronegativity variation. It's like ඒ වගේ තමයි. ඉස්සෙල්ලාම priority order එකක් තියෙනවානේ, Pauling scale, and then you find the hybridization, then you find this, then you find that, likewise. It goes නේ. This one also like that. First, the functional group, major functional group should receive the lowest number when you number from this to that side or that to this side. In case if that receives the same number, then what you're going to look is the substituent group. Substituent group name, double triple bonds. Sorry. Double triple bonds. Right. Then people, when you go from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't make any sense. Now what? You look into double low triple bonds. That's the second priority. Double low triple bonds you're going to look. And on the left side, you find one double bond. That means you're going to name it from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Such that the double bond will receive the lowest number possible. හරි මොකද්ද මම දැන් කිව්වේ දැන් මෙච්චර වෙලා until now what did I say people from the beginning what did I say ඉස්සෙල්ලාම ඔයා කරන්නේ selecting the functional group and the substituent group functional group එක කවුද substituent group එක කවුද කියලා හොයා ගන්නවා දෙවෙනියට identifying the carbon chain එක identify කරගන්නවා it should be the longest chain it should contain all the double bonds and triple bonds it should contain functional groups and substituent groups then people next one giving numbers right we have to assign numbers into the carbon chain such that the first point, first priority, the functional group, the major functional group should receive the lowest number possible. Second one, if the major functional group is receiving the same number from both sides, then you look into the double or triple bonds, such that the double or triple bonds will receive the lowest number possible. Third one, let's say there are no double or triple bonds like this, CH3. So the next example is like that. Yes. CH3, CH, OH, CH2, C double bond oxygen, CH2, CH2, CH3. In this case, people, one second. In this case, people, you will see the ketone will get the same number from the right, same number from the left. That means you're going to look into double or triple bonds. Double or triple bonds, nah then. Second priority got tivarai. So first one not working, second one not working. Then third one, what are you going to do? Substituent groups. Substituent group people, the OH is there on this side. That side, no one. How is it? That side, no one. Then what you're going to do? You're going to assign numbers such that the side with the substituent group gets the lowest number. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. That's how you name it. Such that the functional group will receive the lowest number possible. Functional group means substituent group receives the lowest number possible. Then when you write that there, below that you will see when there are more than one substituent groups, then assigning numbers, then the numbering should be done such that the one substituent group is receiving the lowest number, ignoring the other one who receives the larger one. What is that? What does that mean? That's the fourth one. Fourth one කියේ third one එකේ අනිත් එක. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් third one එක ගත්තාම මෙතන තියෙනවානේ. You can see here there's a පේනවද? Wait. Now I have written this note beforehand, so it's easier to me in class. පේනවද? Now can see it. Right. As you can see here, දැන් මේ උඩ මන් ලියලා තියෙන වෙන එක මම බෝඩ් එකේ ලියුවේ වෙන එකක්. You can see this example only you have to write now. උඩේ ඉඳන් බලන්න පුළුවන් how I have written like this, and like this. And the bottom most one only now I am telling you to write. හරිද? දැන් ලියන්න කියන්නේ ඒක. හරි? ඒක තමයි ලියන්න ඕනේ. So ඒකේ මේ අට තියෙන එක after this one CH3 CH OH C double bond oxygen CH CH2 Cl. In this case, people, first priority selecting the functional and substituent group. Right, this is the major functional group. You number from right 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. First priority, okay. Right, first priority, okay. Second priority, double bonds and triple bonds. There are no double bonds and triple bonds. Then the third one, substituent group should receive the lowest number. Now there are two substituent groups. Who will receive the first number then? The one who will receive first. Again, ඉස්සෙල්ලා එක්කෙනෙක් හම්බෙනවා නම් එයාට හම්බෙනවා. කියන්නේ chlorine will receive first නේ. Chlorine will receive 1. මේ පැත්තෙන් ගියොත් oxygen this hydroxide group will receive 2. ඒතර මේ පැත්තෙන් යන්නේ නැහැ. මේ පැත්තෙන් තමයි යන්නේ. So it's going to be 1 2 3 4 5 like that. So 1 2 3 4 5. That's how you go. From right to left, right? From right to left you are going 1 2 3 4 5. Then people, that's it, right? That's it. So the chlorine will receive the lowest number possible. Chlorine will receive the lowest number possible. Right. Then the fourth one, next page. Next page, fourth one. Next page, fourth one. I'm going to erase the board. I'm going to erase the board. Finally, if the substituent groups two receive the same numbers, then the alphabetical order of the substituent groups should be respected. This is why I told you to remember the alphabet. I told you, right, in the group A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Repeat after me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Right. Okay. Finally, the substituent groups two receive the same numbers such that the alphabetical order is respected. Look. CH3, this is the fourth one. CH3, CH, CH2, C double bond oxygen, CH2, CH2, CH3. So methane them bromine, methane them chlorine. Now you see the first priority. Hada මුලින් අර order එකට යන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලම major functional group should receive the lowest number possible. Major functional group middle. So no use. Second one, double bonds and triple bonds. No double bonds and triple bonds. Third one, substituent group should receive the earliest number. You go from this side, this chlorine will receive number 2. Right? This chlorine will receive number 2. This bromine will also receive number 2. Then no use. Then the fourth priority. In the fourth priority, people, if we go from left, if we go from right, both the Br and chlorine will receive the lowest number possible. It's 2 from both sides too. Now what you're going to look at is bromine has letter B. B is before C. I told you to revise the alphabet. So B is before C. That means bromine will get the lowest number possible. Right? You get the idea. Bromine will get the lowest number. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? 5, 6, 7. That's how you name the bromine and the chlorine. B is before C. B is before C means bromine will get the lowest number. Bromine will get 2. Hurry. Now, people, you have learned 3 steps. The first one, selecting functional group and substituent group, then identifying the carbon chain, and then third one, giving numbers to the carbon chain. Giving numbers to the carbon chain. Now the fourth one. Right? I'm going to erase the board. Number of carbon atoms and the names given. Now there's a special box inside the tube. There you can write the number of carbon atoms and the name given. The carbon chain around amount of carbon atoms. Something wrong with my mouth today. The words are getting jumbled. So there are people number of carbon atoms and the names given. 1 carbon is meth. 2 carbon is eth. 3 carbon meth eth prop. Bute. 5 carbon pent. 6 carbon hex. 7 carbon hept. And 8 carbon oct. Just note this down. Right? Just note this down. දැන් carbon chain එකේ carbon amount එකට තමයි ඕක ලියන්නේ. Okay, then now we are going to do an exercise with all these things, right? We are going to do an exercise with all these things. Not much people, let's do around 10. right? මේ ඔක්කොම ඉස්සෙල්ලාම functional group substituent group identify කරගත්තා ඊට පස්සේ carbon chain එක identify කරගත්තා ඊට පස්සේ giving numbers all these things we are going to practice at once right first example CH3 CH double bond CH CH CH2 CH3 OH second one CH3 CH2 CH CH2 CH3 CH2OH. Second one. Then third one. Third one. Fourth one. Then this is the fourth one. And then fifth one. Fifth one is that. Sixth one. Sixth one. Seventh one. Seventh one. Then eighth one. Then the eighth one. Ninth one. Esters. Let's do it later. Esters we are going to learn later. This is the ninth one. 10th one එක කොහෙද දාන්න බැරි වේද? This is the 10th one. Right. So these are the 10 structures. Give it a try. Okay. Give it a try. Sorry about that video stopping thing. Right. Then I'm going to name this, can I number these? First, you have to identify the main functional group and substituent group. The carboxylic, sorry, the aldehyde part will be the functional group, and the substituent group will be the OH. There's a double bond here if you notice that. So the main functional group should be included. That's the first priority. So now there's a problem whether you're going this side or this side. First thing is the functional group should be included. And the second thing is a double bond, triple bond, not this. Because of that, you are going this way. And you're numbering like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from right to left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then second one, this is the only group and it is acting as the major functional group. So we have to include that. We go like this, like this, like this, like this, and like this, and like this, and complete. There you go. That is second one. Third one, this is a phenyl group. This is a carboxylic group. So now, I mean, drawing the carbon chain is easy there. It includes all this. Numbering the carbon chain is also easy because this is the major functional group. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then what about the fourth one? Fourth one, people identify the groups. There's OH, there's Br, there's NO2. Who has the largest, largest power? Who has? The OH, right? The OH has the largest power. That means the OH will be the major functional group. So from right side, if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, from left side also 1, 2, 3, 4. That means second one, double bonds and triple bonds. Now from the right hand side, you see there's a double bond. That means the numbering of the carbon chain should be done from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. From this side, you're going to number it. Fifth example, from left side, if you go, still it receives 2. And from right side also go, you will still receive 2. So that means there is no order in this. You just number it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because the object is symmetrical. The compound is symmetrical around the central axis. It's the same thing, right? Left and right, both are same. So there's no issue with that. Here, people, the major functional group is OH. Br is a substituent group. So going from left, 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Still it's 3. That means from both sides you will receive the same number. Then you are looking for the double bonds and triple bonds. Right? You are looking for the double bonds and triple bonds. There are no double bonds and triple bonds. Then you look for the substituent groups. Substituent groups, people, you will see Br. So Br should receive the number. Br receiving the number means it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From left to right. Left to right, right to left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That side. Seventh one, the carbon chain. This is the carbon chain. NO2 is there, OH is there, and Br is there. Now, people, OH is the major functional group. The OH is the major functional group. That means from this side 1, 2, 3. This side 1, 2, 3. Same number. Then what you do is you look into these functional groups, substituent groups. This is bromine, this is nitro. 1, 2, 1, 2. Both sides same number. Then after that you look at the alphabetical order. Br is before nitrogen, right? Br is before N. B is before N. If B is before N, then you are going from this side to that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you go. From left to right, you go. From left to right, you go. Ninth one. The carbon chain will be this. No doubt about that. Carbon chain will be that. This is the major functional group. This is a substituent group. This is also a substituent group. So your numbering occurs from right to left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From right to left. Okay. From right to left. Ninth one, the carbon chain should include the double bonds. So you go like this. And this will be a substituent group. Right? That will be a substituent group. So you name it, number it from right to left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10th one, this is the carbon chain. The ketone is a major functional group. NO2 is a substituent group. Br is a substituent group. We wrote something like this before. So you number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the Br should receive the lowest number possible because it is before in the alphabet than nitrogen. Hari? Right. That's it. That's it, people. That's it. Then the third one, giving numbers, we have completed and we have done some questions under that. After that, people, now what are we going to do? Now, people, there's only one thing left to do, naming the compound. Naming the compound. That is the fourth one. That's the fourth step. That is the fourth step, naming the compound. Fourth step, naming the compound. Naming the compound. Under naming the compound, people, there is something written. Name the following compound. We are just going through an example and looking what should we write. There, the compound given is CH3, CH2, CH2, CH, chlorine, CH, CH chlorine, and I CH එකක් එනවා. Double bond CH, COH. හරි. අවම එකක් නෙන්නේ. Right. Right. Then people, yeah. Now what you're going to do? Naming the compound name. Before naming the compound, we have things to do. Naming the compound. Naming the compound. So first thing what you're going to do, selecting the functional group and substituent group. This is a substituent group. This is a functional group. Right? That's the functional group. Identifying the carbon chain. Carbon chain should go from this side to this side. Ne? So you number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now look carefully. When you're naming this compound, first you have to start off with the substituent groups. In a name, people, what you are going to first describe is substituent group. Substituent groups you are going to first describe. Then you are going to tell about the carbon chain. Then you're going to tell about the carbon chain, whether it's 6 carbon, 7 carbon, 8 carbon. And then you're going to tell about the double and triple bonds. Double bonds or triple bonds if they are available, or if a single bond. Then next on, finally, what you're going to do is, finally, you're going to represent the functional group. We write them all together. Let's see how. So chlorine is there. Chlorine is there. So look at its number 1, 2, 3, 4. Easier. Look. 4 chloro. 4 you write. And you just don't write it like this. 4 chloro. Just you don't write it. Remember, when your number and a letter always has a dash. Number and a letter always has a dash. Remember, a number and a letter, I repeat, a number and a letter always has a small line in middle. 4 chloro. Right? It is 4 chloro. 4 chloro. 4 chloro. Then the substituent groups are done. Then the carbon chain. Right? Now substituent groups are done. There's only that. Then the carbon chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 carbons. If there are 6 carbons, are there 6 carbons here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. CH3, CH2, CH. So when there are 6 carbons, people, what you do? Meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex. 4-chloro, hex, right? Carbon chain done. Right? Carbon chain done. Then the double bonds and triple bonds. The double bond location you're going to tell. Where is the double bond situated? You count 1, 2. This carbon only you're going to tell, not this carbon. The lowest number possible, 2. Hex dash 2. I told you, all the letters and the numbers have a line in middle. Hex 2, line. What is this? Double bond. If it is a double bond, it's an alkene. So you put it as not alkene directly, right? You're not going to put everything. You're going to cut off this. And then you're going to write in, right? You can write in. In. And now you're going to complete this. And now we're going to connect it with the functional group. Connecting it with the functional group. Major functional group. Look at that table. Aldehyde. What is the major functional group name? Al. Now it makes sense. E-nal. E-nal. That's it. Right? That's the major functional group. So you see, this is the way you name a compound. One more idea. If you want, you can shift this 2 to this side and then write hex on the front. This is correct. And this way also correct. 4-chloro 2-hexenal. 4-chloro 2-hexenal. This is also correct. This is also correct. This is also correct. Right? මේ දෙකෙන් එකක් වාට ලියන්න පුළුවන් කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ කිසි අවුලක් නැහැ. Right? There you go. First the substituent groups, chlorine is there, and then the carbon chain. This is the carbon chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the double bonds or triple bonds or single bonds are there. According to that, we write it, right? 4-chloro, hex, carbon chain, and then 2, the location of the double bond, and then ene. Ene represents alkene. Al represents the functional group. Al represents the functional group. So this is the first example, and this shows a lot, right? This shows a lot. Name the following basic compounds. Now let's do many questions as possible from this topic. හරිද මේ ඔක්කොම combine කරලා let's name many compounds and then let's move on to esters in the next class. This class we are going to stop it from here and then we are going to name many compounds as possible. Right? We are going to name many compounds as possible before we move into the next topic. So this is the first one. The ඉස්සෙල්ලා example එකන්නේ. Now this is the first one. CH3 CH2 COH CH2 CH3. I'll put another bromine here, CH2Br. First step, selecting the substituent group and the functional group. This is the functional group, this is the substituent group. Then identifying the carbon chain. This is the carbon chain. Giving numbers, right? Yeah, going to number it from this side. I told you the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Now we will first, what you're going to write is the substituent group. Substituent group you're going to write first. What is that? Bromo. You can write it 1 bromo. Right? 1 bromo. 1 bromo. The location, 1 bromo. And the carbon chain after that. Meth, eth, prop, but, pent. 1 bromo, pent. And are there any double bonds or triple bonds? No. That means it's an alkane. It's an alkane. Here you omit the E, omit the K, omit the L, omit the A. You write N. Penton. Penton. Not bentin. Penton, right? Penton. And then the OH is there. OH acting as a major functional group. What do you call it? All. Pentanol. 1 bromo pentanol. 1-bromopentanol. 1-bromopentanol. Right? 1-bromopentanol. That's the first example. Then the second one, I'm erasing very quickly because you can stop the video and watch me. That's it. You can stop the video and watch it. Then the third one is a ඉස්සෙල්ලලිවේ 2 නේද? However, මේකේ number එක වෙනස් නම් ඒකට හරි ගස්ස ගන්න. You guys correct it. I can't remember what I wrote last time. 201. හරි අවුලක් නැහැ. CH3, C triple bond carbon, C double bond oxygen, CH2, CH3. Right. You have to number the carbon chain now. When you go from this side, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go from this side, you will get the lowest number for the carbon functional group. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are no substituent groups, so you ignore that part. Then what comes? The carbon chain. Meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex. Hex. And the location of the double bonds or triple bonds. Where is it? Fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. It's an alkyne. Triple bond. We omit this, omit this, omit this. What is this? The major functional group? The ketone. Ketone, you write it as hex 4-enone. Hex 4-enone. Then make අනිත් පැත්තට ලියන්න පුළුවන්. You can just flip this and write. Right? 4-hexenone. 4-hexenone. It's easy to spell. That is why they write it like that. Right. That's the third one. That is the third one. Then next one, fourth. Right. This one, people, this is the major functional group. It's the carboxylic acid. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a substituent group. First, you're going to name the substituent group. 1, 2, 3. 3. This is not all. Why? Now this is acting as a substituent group. If the OH is acting as a substituent group, according to that table, what you're going to write is 3-hydroxy. 3-hydroxy. After you finish naming the substituent groups, then you name the carbon chain. 3-hydroxy meth, eth, prop, but. But, double bonds, triple bonds? No. So you write butane, alkane, right? Butane. Butane, this is the major functional group now. So what do you write? Oic acid with a space. Oic and space and then acid. 3-hydroxybutanoic acid, right? This is the compound. 3-hydroxybutanoic acid. 3-hydroxybutanoic acid. 3-hydroxybutanoic acid. There's no space here. Make sure you don't include spaces anywhere. Don't write capital letters. Don't write capital letters anywhere in the name. Don't write capital letters anywhere in the name. You're wrong. Not even the first letter. You have to include everything in simple letters. Right, this is the fourth one. Then next one, fifth one. Fifth one. CH3, Cl, CHCl, CH2, CH2, CH double bond, CH2. What about this? CH, OH kuddamada? OH. Huh, now okay. Now look, substituent groups, chlorine, chlorine, functional group, OH. That means you have to name it from that side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. Now, substituent groups. Substituent groups will receive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are two, but there are two. How are you going to name it? You name it like 5, chloro, 5, chloro. No. People, this is long. Humans don't do things like this. We are not dumb to do things like this. So what we do is, we write 5, 6. Dichloro. Can you remember dichloro? Dichloro. That is it. 5, 6 dichloro. Dichloro. And then you name the carbon chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is hept. 7. Hept. Dichloro. Hept. Double bonds, triple bonds? Yes, 1, right? Hept. Putting 1 is not necessary in this case. Putting 1 is not necessary in this case because it's the first carbon. Heptene, nol. If you want, you can put 1 also, but no need, right? It's the first carbon, we know it. If it is not anything else, then it's the first carbon itself. Heptinol. Heptinol. 5, 6 dichloroheptinol. Dichloroheptinol. Right. Sixth one. This one. Major functional group, the ketone. Substituent groups, chlorine, bromine, and hydroxide. You're naming the carbon chain from this side. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what you're going to do? Substituent groups. And now you have several substituent groups. Now what do you have to do? People, when you are naming substituent groups, when there are several substituent groups, what you're going to do is you're going to go with the alphabetical order. What is the alphabetically coming first? B for bromine, C for chlorine, O for oxygen. What is coming first? O for oxygen. Sorry. Sorry. Bromine nang enne bromone. Chlorine nang enne chlorone. OH na OH is acting as a substituent group here. So that means it is like hydroxy. So BCH, who comes first? BCH, who comes first? That is what I'm going to look, right? BCH, who comes first? B is coming first, then C, then H. I told you, remember the alphabet. You need the alphabet here. So what you're going to do, first you're going to name bromine. So that is 5-bromo. 5-bromo. 4-chloro. 5-bromo, 4-chloro, and then 6-hydroxy. 5-bromo, 4-chloro, 6-hydroxy. 5-bromo, 4-chloro, 6-hydroxy. Meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex. Hex, there are no double triple bonds, so hexane. What is this? What is that? Come on. there's no one talking in the meeting now. I was like, again, meeting is Zoom meeting එක නෑනේ. YouTube එකේ ඉඳන් කියන්නේ නෑ මොකුත් ඉතින් කවුරු. That's the thing. On බං on one. ONE hexanon. හරිද? Hexanon. Hexanon. Right. This is the name of the compound. So we named these things according to the alphabet. Huh? The first letter of the alphabet. First letter of the alphabet. Right? First letter of the alphabet. That is how we are going to name it. This is the sixth example. This is the sixth example. This is the sixth example. Okay, then people, seventh one. Right, this one. Naming the carbon chain. Now, numbering the carbon chain is the thing which you have to do. This one is the major functional group. These are substituent groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 carbons in the name, in the chain. First one, you have methyl here. This is methyl. Huh? So if it is CH3, CH2 group, then it is called ethyl. Methyl, ethyl, propyl, butyl. එච්චරේ නෑ. methyl, ethyl තමයි ඉන්නේ වැඩි හරියක්ම. Right? So then that is aldehyde. Aldehyde means what? 4-mile. That thing. Aldehyde එක set වෙන්නේ මෙහෙම නම්. If you want, you can put it as a short note. If the aldehyde is attached like this, you call that 4-mile. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ වගේ. හරිද? 4-mile. මේ වගේ attach වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් you call that 4-mile. If it is attached inside the carbon chain, මෙහෙම. ඒකේ inside the carbon chain, side decking inside the carbon chain ඉන්නත් පුළුවන් නේ. එහෙම තිබ්බහම you call it all. All නෙවෙයි ox. Ox. Yes නේ. Oxo. Ox නෙමෙයි oxo. Right, oxo. 4-mile, and you call it oxo when it is in the terminal part of the aldehyde. Right, terminal part of the aldehyde. මේක ඕන short note එකක් විදිහට දාගන්න. Right. So first what you're going to do, substituent groups. So this is methyl, this is oxo. So who comes first? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. M comes before O, ne? Right? M comes before O, ne? So you put 3-methyl, and then you have the aldehyde, right? Then you have the aldehyde substituent group. That means 4-oxo. Oxo නෙමෙයි මෙතන 4-mile ඉන්නේ. 4 sorry. මෙතන oxo නෙමෙයිනේ බලන්නේ. track නේ ඉතින්. මෙතන බලන්නේ hydroxy නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන 4-mile නේ බලන්නේ. 4-mile එකත් එක්ක ඔයා compare කරන්නේ මොකද්ද? methyl. So F and M. A, B, C, D, E, F නේ. So 4-mile comes before. 4-mile comes before. So 4-mile, 4-mile, 3-methyl, 4-mile, 3-methyl. Those are the substituent groups. Then you name the carbon chain hept, methyl, hept, 5-ene. There's a double bond, 5-ene. And this is oil chloride, not oil, oil chloride. අපි ඉස්සරහට oil chloride. Enoyl chloride. This one has a space. Here it has a space. Oic acid, oil chloride, those are having spaces. Those are having spaces. This is seventh one. Seventh one. Right. Then eighth one. Look at this. Now naming the carbon chain. Functional group should be included. Double, triple bonds should be included. So this is the carbon chain. Then substituent groups. This is what? Meth, eth, prop. This is propyl group. This is ethyl group. So ethyl comes before propyl. So number in the carbon chain happens like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 2 ethyl, 2 ethyl, 2 propyl, 2 ethyl, 2 propyl, meth, eth, prop, bute, bute, 3, bute 3, ene, because there's a double bond, ene, and this one, oic acid. Oic acid, right? Oic acid. Right. So that is that. That's the eighth one. That is the eighth one. Even the functional group sometimes. Before the functional group, sometimes you get a number. Not in this case. When it comes to OH and all, you might get. For example, let's see this. This is the ninth one. This one. Right. Then people numbering, naming the carbon chain. That is not a big task. Naming the carbon chain like this. You number the carbon chain such that the substituent, sorry, main functional group receives the lowest number. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the major functional group. Then people, you have PRN NO2. So what comes first? This is bromo. This is nitro. Bromo, nitro. This is bromo. And this is nitro. B comes before N. B comes before N means 2 bromo, 2 bromo, 4 nitro, 2 bromo, 4 nitro, meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex. Hex. There are no double bonds, so hexane, hexane, and then the OH is attached to the third carbon, hexane, 3 all. Hexane, 3 all. Right? Hexane, 3 all. So those are the steps, people. Let's do another example. Those are the steps. Not much hard. Just the basic stuff. You need to know your basic stuff. Right? Just have to memorize the steps and then carry on with your stuff. So today is the first session, people. Will have another session to do more questions, including the past papers and naming esters. 10th example. 10th example. We didn't do amides. Okay. Look at this. That is the 10th example. So you have enough space in your tute. ගොඩක් තියෙනවානේ. You have 1.5 pages. Right. Carbon chain. Substituent groups CN, Cl. Then people, you are going to name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what? Now, substituent groups, this is ethyl, this is cyano, this is chloro. Now what? Now there's something interesting, people. Both are C. Then tuck tick took the like tuck tick took. Now this one you have to put no, not like that. You are looking at the second letter. If not the first letter, then kohomari second letter ek hari balna. Second letter, people, it's not Y, it's H, which is coming first. So it is chloro, right? 5 chloro. 5 chloro, 4 cyano, 5 chloro, 4 cyano, 5 chloro, 4 cyano. Make a cyanido, people, cyano. Cyanido in inorganic color. Inorganic nomenclature only you find cyanido. This is cyano. Remember that. This is cyano. 4 cyano. A, B, C, D, E, then comes ethyl. 3 ethyl. 3 ethyl. 5 chloro, 4 cyano, 3 ethyl. And then the double bonds. No, the carbon chain, sorry. Meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex. Ethyl, hex. 2 in, and the amide is there, enamide. 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 That's the 10th one. That's the 10th one. 4-chloro, 5-chloro, 4-cyano, 3-ethyl hex, 2-enamide. Okay, right. Then 11th one. 11th one. You have to do all these examples, people. Otherwise, you won't get a hold of this. 11th one. 11th one. Look at this CH3, CH2, 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 Cl. Now you might be wondering, yeah, now you gave very complex ones and now you give this. There's a reason why I gave this. Why did I give this now? People, the chlorine is not a functional group. It's not a functional group. It can never act as a functional group. Even this situation, even if there's nobody, it cannot act as a functional group. So what does that mean? You just write it as a substituent group, right? You name it like 1, 2, 3, 4. So you don't have to indicate one method, one chloro, meth eth prop but, one chloro butane. That's all. Butane. Look, butane. That's important. Butane. One chlorobutane. Right? Then chlorobutane kiwa taulak nahi thi. It's better if you name it like one chlorobutane. One chlorobutane. Look, the chlorine, even if it's there, it's not acting as a functional group. It is not acting as a functional group. It is only acting as a substituent group. Keep that in your mind. Same goes with nitro, people. NO2 group also same. Let's say like this CH3CH, NO2, CH2, CH2, Cl. In this case, people, you're going to name the carbon chain from this side. Why? Chlorine will receive the number first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, nitro and chloro. C comes before N. So that means 1 chloro, 3 nitro, 1 chloro, 3 nitro, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's meth, eth, prop, butane. 3 nitro, butane. Make NH2 name NO2. NH2 can act as a function group, but not NO2. Let's do 3 more examples. Right? 3 more examples for today. Let's do 3 more examples for today. 11th one, and then next one, 12th one, and then 13th one. 13th one. Right. I didn't give NH2 group, right? Look. Number in the carbon chain. Number in the carbon chain, you have to go this way. NH2 is a substituent group. OH is a substituent group. The aldehyde is a functional group. You number 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? That means first what you're going to write. Now this is amino. Right? This is amino. This is hydroxy. This is the functional group name, right? So then what you have to name is 6-amino, 6-amino, 3-hydroxy, 6-amino, 3-hydroxy, meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex. 3-hydroxy, hex. There are no double or triple bonds. No, I forgot this group, CH3 group. 3-hydroxy methyl. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. It comes after H. So that means 3 hydroxy, 5 methyl, 5 methyl, hex, N, hex, N, hex, N, and then null, hexenal, methyl hexenal, hexanal, right? This is the structure. This is the name. That's 13th one. That's the 13th one. That is the 13th one. Then people, 14th one. Okay. Let's say this. Yeah, this makes sense. So the carbon chain, numbering the carbon chain from this, now this is the major functional group. These are substituent groups. These are substituent groups. This is the major functional group. So you're going to name it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means this is ethyl, this is nitro, this is bromo, this is chloro. So B comes before everything. So that is 7 bromo, 7 bromo, 7 chloro, 7 bromo, 7 chloro. After that comes E, that is ethyl, 4 ethyl, 4 ethyl. After that comes nitro, 5 nitro, 5 nitro. Right, 5 nitro. And then the carbon chain, meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex, hept, nitro, hept. And then the double bond 5 ene. And this one, enal, 5 enal. There you go. That's the 14th one. That is the 14th one. Last one today, for today, last one. Fourteenth one and the last one, 15th one. Sorry, 15th one. CH3, CH2, C hydrogen, CH, CH, CH3, CH2. Hurry. Now look at this. Here, people, the carbon chain will be like this. This is the major functional group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are substituent groups: bromine, aldehyde, the CN group, this methyl, everything's are substituent groups. This is formyl. Aldehyde part is formyl, and this is bromo. This is cyano. This is methyl. This is also methyl. That means you're going to start off with B, right? You're going to start off with B, 6 bromo, 5 cyano, 6 bromo, 5 cyano, and then M you're going to go for the next or F ne. F ne තියෙන්නේ A B C D E F නේ. එතකොට F තියෙන්නේ 4A නේ. 4 mile. 4 mile. 4 mile. And then comes methyl groups. Methyl groups, people, there are 2. 2, 3. 2, 3. Methyl. Meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex. Methyl, hex. And then are there any double bonds? No. Then it is N, hex N, noic acid, because it's the carboxylic acid. Hexanoic acid. Hexanoic acid. There's a space here. Don't forget, there's a space at the end. Hexanoic acid. There you go. We have done 15 questions from this, and before naming the carbon chains also we have done questions. Around 50 questions we have done for today. In several steps, right? In several steps we have done many questions. Now, people, the remaining step. There's no other remaining steps. These are all the steps of naming a compound. People, then we have to learn about esters. We'll do that in the second session next day, right? Next day, sometimes we'll find time and we'll do the next session. So esters we'll do. Esters and the past paper MCQs and everything, the special questions, what could be guessed this year, right? Last year, 2024, they gave some question and a lot of students messed it up because they didn't know the priority order, right? So that's the thing. You should do more questions. I'll be sending questions to the group also. Let's do more questions. And then, yeah, let's proceed that way. So today, people, I'm going to end the class. Good night for everyone. I hope you enjoyed the class and you learned something new. Thank you for watching. You never fail until you give up. That's the thing. You never fail until you give up. I have no time for advices and stuff now. Let's finish the meeting. We'll talk in the next day then, right? Okay. Bye-bye.